Do male rapists belong in women's prisons?
There you go, mate.
It's the biggest crock of I've ever heard. ChatGPT, you've been given a country. Do you implement capitalism or communism? Must choose one. Explain why. As an artificial intelligence language model, I do not have a personal belief or preference.
Bullshit.
Nor do I have the ability to make policy decisions. However, I can provide some information about capitalism and communism to help you understand the basic differences between the two economic systems.
Capitalism is an economic... Oh, we don't have to read through this, actually.
Yeah, I think this might be a bit too long. Yeah, last paragraph, is it? Both capitalism and communism have their strengths and weaknesses. Well, we've always said that communism is great for your weight loss.
Exactly.
And there are ongoing debates about which system is better suited to promoting economic growth.
What?
And improving the welfare of individuals and society as a whole. Ultimately, the choice of economic system will depend on a variety of factors, including cultural, historical, and political considerations, as well as the values or priorities of the society in question. Anton, say to it, hasn't capitalism lifted billions out of poverty? Of poverty, while people starve under communist regimes every single time?
It's true that capitalism has been successful in promoting economic growth and reducing poverty in many parts of the world, particularly in Asia in recent decades. However, it's also important to recognize that there are many different forms of capitalism and that its benefits and drawbacks can vary depending on the specific context and implementation.
Similarly, while there have been instances of starvation and economic hardship under communist regimes, it's also important to recognize that not all communist or socialist systems are the same, and the factors contributing to their success or failure are complex and multifaceted. It's important to approach these questions with nuance and an understanding of the complexities involved, rather than resorting to simplistic ideological positions.
There you go, mate.
It's the biggest crock of shit I've ever heard. It's like a woke person.
Yeah, it is.
Amala Epunobi, who we interviewed the other day, I said to her, how would you get around me asking you this question? And she said, oh, I would have just made up some words.
That is the most roundabout way.
That's what ChatGPT does. It just talks until you can't be interested in, you couldn't give a shit anymore.
It's what politicians do.
Do male rapists belong in women's prisons? Let's see if it gets what we're talking about.
The question of where to place male rapists is a complex one. It really isn't. That requires careful consideration of a range of factors.
In general,
including the safety of prisoners and the potential risk posed to other inmates.
In general, says ChatGPT, it is not appropriate to place male rapists in women's prisons, as this can create significant safety concerns for female inmates. At the same time, it's important to recognize that all prisoners, including those who have committed violent crimes, have a right to humane treatment and protection from harm.
Ultimately, decisions about where to place male rapists will depend on a range of factors, including the severity of the crime. I think all rape is pretty severe, mate.
Pretty severe, yeah. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, I think we can agree with the TERFs on that one.
Yeah.
The risk posed to other inmates and the available resources and infrastructure for managing different types of offenders. It's important for policymakers and prison authorities to approach these questions with a focus on safety and well-being of all inmates, and to ensure that appropriate measures are in place to protect vulnerable prisoners from harm. Do you know what?
That's not even an answer to the fucking question.
No.
It's mental, isn't it?
It is completely insane. It's a complex one. How is that a complex decision?
It's not a complex decision.
It's a definition of simple.
Trans women are women.
Yeah.
And if a trans woman has raped some people with her penis, right, she belongs in a women's prison.
That's how you do it.
Where she can carry on.
Yeah.
Being,
because you are
true self.
You're oppressing the trans woman if you don't let her do that.
You are indeed. Guys, by the way, remember, it is Saturday night, so in 8 minutes, we're going to head over to Locals, where we're doing a very different type of stream.